Okay, so I felt like the need to share my testimony regarding, everything that I've just been through in the last few years, like the last 5 years. It's been hard. First of all, I'll just give you some background. My name is Tashara. I am a mother of 7 kids, 5 girls, 2 boys, and I do work, and I'm single, parent, or whatever the case may be. But anyways, so like for the last 5 years, me and my kids have been homeless. It all started with a situation where we were living in a house as a family with myself, my kid's father at the time, and my grandmother, my mom, my stepfather, my brother, his girlfriend, and his friend, and I think my 2 kids at the time, two kids at the time. So, we was all living together, whatever, and things had kind of got heated. There was a lot of tension in the house, being that it's a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? So my mom put everybody out the house, and so me and my family, me and my kids, and my kid's father at the time, my brother, his girlfriend, and once again a friend, we all moved into a hotel, but we was all staying in 1 bedroom, the one hotel with the 2 beds, whatever. There's a whole bunch of us. So boom, we lived in that hotel for a while or whatever, but by that time my brother had got up the money to go and get his own room. So mind you, for me it was very difficult because I was raised like everything was given to me. I'm just gonna be honest, like a spoiled brat. My grandmother and grandfather would just give me the world. I'm the oldest grandchild. I wasn't getting in no trouble. I wasn't no bad kid. Followed, just, very mannerable. Went to church. Participated a lot in church and did a lot of things. And so it was like I was waited on basically hand and foot. But there were times, because I was so rotten and so spoiled as a kid, that when I couldn't have my way, I'm just going to be honest, when I couldn't have my way, I would throw a fit. I would throw a whole tantrum or whatever the case may be. And so, I knew I was a brat doing that, you know what I'm saying, just having whole fits. But anyway, so my brother had his own room. I had my own room. We lived in a hotel for about 3-4 months, something to that effect, and I was paying like $900, and I wasn't working. I had kids that had to get to school, so I would have to call people to come take them to school for me, call people to come pick them up because I wasn't working. I was unemployed, but I was receiving unemployment or whatever. My kid's dad at that time, he was like doing little odds and end jobs for people and different stuff like that. So We ate a lot of microwavable food, you know, different stuff like that, or whatever. So, boom, we get through all of that. My kid's father went to prison for 2 years, and we were living in a family home, and my aunt left her kids there, and I was taking care of them. And I felt like that was, you know, a bit much for me, being that I was a mother of 2 already. I was pregnant, and I was working at a job where I was only making like $9 an hour. And so, lights got turned off. But I was so mad because my auntie was out on the road. You know, she was making money, but her kids was with me. And they were grown. One of the kids had a child at the time. And the son was like an older teenager. So when I would ask for her to send money for her kids, you know, to help me with the bills, she wouldn't send it. So this particular time, the lights got cut off, and I just decided, like, okay, I'm gonna pay it. So, you know, like I said, I'm working at a job. I'm working at a job where it's $9 an hour. So, boom, I go, and we, you know, still living, whatever. Lights get cut off again. But this particular time, I had the money. So I just decided, because, you know, I wasn't getting no help, and I got basically grown people living with me, besides taking care of my kids, that I'm just going to go stay in the hotel, because I didn't have nowhere to go. You know what I'm saying? So moved into a hotel again, moved back into a hotel, and lived in the hotel. Then it got to a point where I didn't have enough money. It was like $225 a week to stay in the hotel, and I didn't have the money to make odds meet. So I ended up living with my mom, and I stayed with her for maybe a couple of months. I think it was like a couple of months. And then I had my own apartment, lived in an apartment for like 2 years. And that's when my kid's father came home. So, like, boom. After that, anyways, so, boom, me and my kid's father, we get together. And, you know, things a little funny. Because, you know, he don't work. He do, you know, tattoos. But, you know, that ain't an everyday hustle. You know what I'm saying? Not knocking him, but that's not an everyday hustle where, you know, as people that smoke weed or do drugs or, you know, drink all the time, that's not something they're gonna do every day. They're not gonna get a tattoo every day. So, you know, things started getting, you know, a little crazy with us. But I had the 3rd child while he was in prison, came home, got pregnant with the 4th one. Then we continued to be at each other's necks. Boom, got pregnant again. 5th and 6th one. Then, boom, 7. So because of us, you know, going through all of that, he finally decided, like, okay, we ain't going nowhere. So we were engaged at the time, but we didn't have nowhere to go. So we were staying in hotels. We went and stayed with these people that lived across from my mom. We met them, and they liked my kids, and they whatever. And so she seen us that we were sleeping in our car. So she asked us to come live with her, and I would have to pay whatever. So go live with them. It was just like a positive and a negative, I'll say that. So we live with them. Then it becomes an issue where they want me to pay their money to pay the bills, but they wasn't paying the bills. They wasn't even paying the bills, so everybody had to go. So we back out again. So at this point in time, me and my kids and, you know, the dad, at this time it's 6 kids I got, and we're sleeping in the car. I had a Dodge Caravan, and we slept in the car. I would put my twins in the front, 2, bucket seats or whatever you want to call it, and then in the back was my daughter and my son. My two daughters were on the seat, and then my two sons, one would lay on the floor in the middle, one would lay, like, it wasn't nobody but God how we was situated in that car. I'm just gonna be honest with you. And I was working at this particular time. He was working at this particular time, so it was to a point where we would go to someone's house to eat, take our baths, and we would go park our car, and we would all sleep in the car. And then like, we had to have bottles in the car, you know, for using the bathroom, or we would have to, you know, it was just a whole, like, it was very crazy. It was something that I never thought that I would experience, but it happened. You know, you never know who it can happen to. So, you know, going through all of that. So finally, me and we working. So a family member reached out, and they, you know, was like feeling some type of way about us sleeping in the car with the kids. So the kids was still going to school. They still was having to go to school. They still was having to be strong. They was told to be quiet. I told them to not speak on it. You know, they would send like the different things where they ask, are you homeless? I never want them to know, because my biggest fear was them taking my kids. I didn't want them to, you know, like, know that we was really going through it. We was really struggling. So I would tell them to go to school, don't say nothing. They ask you where you live at, you live with your grandma. You know what I'm saying? I would tell them different things. You know, I would coach them in what to say, whatever. So, boom. So, my mom sees that it's a lot on the kids. They're taking, you know, dips in the grades. They tired. It's a lot of, you know, emotional draining, because the sleeping in the car was like, my twins were like maybe 4 to 6 months old. So, I'm having to, you know, go, and they're crying. Like, they was really crybabies. So we're dealing in a small space with a whole bunch of us. They're crying. He has to go to work. I gotta go to work. You know, it was just a whole big issue or whatever. So how we doing? So we're I'm gonna take a moment to pause. Hey Mo. Good. Where is the little things for the beads?
What are you talking about? The little thing is?
Yeah, the little thing you put the beads on, yeah. I need that, and
Yeah, you like it?
excuse me.
Nathan, give me the chop. Yeah, the chop.
And I need 2 of them.
One more?
Yeah. And I gotta get rubber bands. What are rubber bands? Alright.
I had put the $10 up on you.
It's okay, Mama.
Oh, I know where they're at. Okay, go ahead. See, I got too many persons. That's why I told you. There's too many persons. Yeah, I know where they're at.
Oh, I use my side. Hey, why?
Okay. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, alright.
Because I got too many persons. Everybody said, what you doing? I said, hey, I'm trying to find the money.
1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I don't need that no bag, because I'm going to put it on.
Okay, Mama.
Okay.
2, 3, 4, 5. $5, Mama. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. My bad. I had to go. Getting ready to go do some hair. Make some coins. Anyway, so boom, two of my oldest kids, they were still in school. So I sent them to go live with my mom. And my two oldest were, my four youngest are still in the car with me. And even with them being so young, I would still coach them. I would be like, listen, your grandma or anybody asks, like, what's going on, you don't know nothing. You know what I'm saying? You tell them you don't know. Like, I would be scared to send them to relatives' houses, to go spend the night with people and different stuff, because I didn't want them asking questions. Because when they would ask for them to come over, you want us to come to your house? Not knowing that I didn't have nowhere to stay. Or if they would meet us, I would tell them, before we get out this car, don't say nothing. Keep your mouths closed. Because it was like a hard situation to deal with. So anyways, so a relative reached out to me. As those two were living with my mom, a relative reached out to me and was like, listen, we see that you working, we see you whatever, you know what I'm saying, you and them kids don't need to be in the car, so come live with us, and we'll come up with something where you pay this, whatever, and so boom, we did that. But then it came an issue where my kid's father, he was working. So my family that we were living with at the time, they decided that I would pay 1 week of what we owed for them staying there, and he would pay another week. And then it got to an issue where they wanted us to save, which it made sense. They wanted us to save money so we can get out on our own. So we were beginning to pay for living there, but we was also giving them money to keep for us so that we could be on our own. And this particular time, it became an issue because my kid's father, when he was asked to give like a lump sum of money or whatever, he didn't want to, or I don't know, whatever, it was an issue. So because the issue was with, him being that, that was my old man or whatever, it kind of makes some friction between my family. So they didn't put us out in a nasty way, but, we had to go or whatever. So we ended up back in the hotel again because we had money, saved up, the little money that we was giving them or whatever. So we ended up back in the hotel. So we stayed in the hotel for a few more months, stayed in the hotel. By this time, it was more so my kids, we were all together on the weekends. During the week, I would work. The others would go to daycare, we had some kind of planned device, whatever. And, during all of this time, I used to pray and pray and pray and cry and pray and pray and cry and pray. And I used to be like, God, what did I do? What did I do to deserve for me and my kids to be put in the situation that we were put in? And I was still going to church. I was still doing the things like being in a choir or a praise team, and I kept a smile on my face. I hid what I was going through. All the people knew that I was going through was my mother, and my favorite aunt and uncle, which were like my second parents, and nobody really knew. You know what I'm saying? I hid it for a long time, and because I never changed up how I took care of my kids. I always made sure they ate, and it would be nice when we would sleep in the car, and I just would keep them, I would pray all night, I wouldn't sleep knowing I had to go to work. But I was trying to find ways to keep the car calm because there was so many of us in one car. So I would try to find ways to keep, just keep the energy or whatever you want to call it in the car where my kids could sleep. They had to go to school and stuff like that. So it was just real hard. And when we stayed in the hotel the last time, my kid's father decided that because me and him had been clashing so much that he would move back home or move with his relatives or whatever. So it was basically just me and the kids at this point. So after staying in hotels and then running out of money, I ended up living with my mom, and it was a 3-bedroom house with 10 people. Because at this time I had my last child, my 7th child, and it was really depressing for me. It was a really, really hard time. Like, I didn't want to eat. I didn't want to, I just wanted to sleep. I was starting to get angry with God because it was like, no matter what I did, I still paid my tithes. I still praised the Lord. It's like, no matter what I did, it was still like not enough. It wasn't enough for me and my family to have somewhere to live, or we didn't have enough money to, get through, or whatever the case may be. So I had to keep praying even harder to kind of get rid of that spirit, like that anger. I was angry, like when I would deal with my kids, I was angry. I didn't want to deal with my kids. I didn't want to deal with my mom. I didn't want to do nothing. Like, it was just real, real hard for me. Real hard for me. And it was difficult. Like, I've been on the Section 8 wait list for 5 years. I think it's been like 5 or 6 years. And then the Housing Authority, I've been on on their waiting list for like 4 or 5 years, something to that effect. And it's just like, I do everything the right way. Like, when is it gonna be my time? Like, when I would see people like getting houses, I would see people being blessed abundantly, I would see people getting cars, because doing all this I had lost cars or whatever. It was just a really, really difficult time. So boom, I'm living with my mom, and like I said, it's hard, it's difficult because it's 10 people in one house, and we always in close. Me and my kids slept in a room. Me and 6 of the kids slept in a room where it's a twin size bed. So I would sleep in the bed with my newborn and one of my twins, and then I would put the other kids on the floor, like on a pallet or whatever. And so we did all that for some years, and finally one day I was just like, I'm tired of everybody looking over me. I'm tired of everybody, I'm tired of feeling how I feel. Tired of not being stable. Tired of not, being able to do nothing with my kids. We would go to the park. We would go to like family functions and stuff, but we never had a time where we could go on a vacation. We never had a time where we could go to a theme park and enjoy ourselves. I never had the money. I never had the time. Just, we would literally, like, we didn't have a car, but we still had places to get. Like, and so, because, like, after I had my twins, I'm going to backtrack a little bit. The van that we slept in, after I had my twins, I kept the van for about 8-9 months, and then I was like, Mom, I don't want to do this. I don't like car payments. That's just me. I'm a type of person, I just want to pay cash and be done with it. And so I didn't want car payments, so I told them they can come get their car. So I didn't have a car. So my neighbor sold us a car for like $300, but it was, mind you, it was like a little dipper. Like, I got 7 kids, no, all of us can't get in here, but it was an extra vehicle on top of what my mama had. for us to get back and forth. So then I caught issues with that, and it was like boom, like this. It was like a domino effect. Things just kept happening. So finally, like, I didn't have no car, and we would still have to get to church. Kids still have to get to functions, school. It was all kind of stuff, and we were literally like, God was with us. I'm just gonna say that, like, God covered us for a long time, like even up until now, because I'm just now getting another vehicle. But God would cover us, y'all, because He would, we would be in a car with 9 people, like a 4-door little Hyundai Sonata, trying to get to church, trying to, you know, get everybody from school and different stuff. It was like, it was good, because it was crazy, because, you know, like how you see those videos, or to see those when you go places and you see people just getting out of cars. It was like so many people getting out of the car. That was us. We was just like, it was like looking at us like, dang, y'all still getting out of the car? Anyways, but so we would have to, you know, pile up in the car. My kids was, get off me. It was just like so frustrating. So I'm still praying, like, God, you know, just help me to not be angry with you. Help me to not be angry with my kids, or have that anger that I have towards you inside of me to treat my kids differently to whatever. So, you know, income tax roll around, boom, boom, boom. And I ended up getting me a car, bought me a truck, and was still working. I was working like 3 jobs, y'all. Like, I'm gonna go get it. I got 7 kids. I don't have no time to just like sit around and not do nothing. Like, that ain't even an option for me. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't even raised like that. Like, I watched my grandmama work her butt off. I watched my granddad work his butt off. My mama working 2 and 3 jobs, you know, to raise me and my brothers. There was 3 of us to raise me and my brothers, you know. So, it wasn't even an option. Like, it wasn't no option, period. And my kids' fathers, I have 3 kids' fathers. But I have 7 kids. And my last 5 are from the same guy, but he took on father role for all 7. Even to this day, we're not together. We co-parent, and same thing. Still, he'll tell anybody, I got 8 kids, because he has another one outside of our 7. And so like their dads wasn't doing nothing, and I'm not finna beg y'all to take care of y'all kids. So I do what I gotta do. So I'm working 2 and 3 jobs, and it was like getting frustrated, because it was like little jobs, like $8.50, $9. Now mind y'all, like, I got certifications out my butt. Like, I got patient care technician, which is like CNA, home health aide, phlebotomy, and EKG. And I'm a nail tech. I got my nail tech license. I got my hair braiding license. Just like a whole bunch of stuff. Daycare, I'm like, I was 1 class away from owning my own daycare. Like, it was just crazy. So finally, I was working for daycares. You know, daycares don't make no kind of money whatsoever, like, period. And I was just like, one day, like, God, listen, something gotta give. Like, me working these, I'm literally like, this was my life for months, y'all. So I worked at this one daycare for like 6 to 7 months, and then it was really like crazy, because she was very mean, like mean towards the parents, mean toward her staff, but she was sweet at the same time. She was mean and sweet at the same time. It was crazy. So I did that. So finally, after I left there, I went and worked for 2 daycares. I would go to one daycare in the morning at like 7 o'clock in the morning, and would drive their van to go pick up their kids, take the van back, and then go work to my other daycare from like 8:30 to 2:30. Then go back from that daycare, go back to the other daycare, and would go work with them. to take the kids home and then go home. And I still got a daycare of my own. I got 7 kids, so I got a daycare at my house. I got to go take care of my kids. Got to cook. I got to make sure they whatever. And I did that, and it was like too much. So then I added a 3rd job, y'all. Why did I do that? I don't even know. I added a 3rd job because I felt like those 2 wasn't making enough for me. Like, it wasn't enough. So I started working with a patient, like sitting with a patient and like doing the home health portion of it or whatever. So I did all that, and then finally, when I would get my checks and when I would see my money, y'all, it still was not adding up. Like, the money wasn't still there. It still wasn't enough for me to take care of my 7 kids. So I literally one day was just like, God, something got to change. Something got to give. This ain't going to work for me. I'm one class from getting my whole daycare license, but I don't really want that responsibility of, you know, having to deal with DCF and people, kids and parents, and you're putting more money out than you're getting in as far as the daycare center. It just wasn't my thing. But my job back, you know, when I took my patient care technician license, when I was in my PCT class, right, I was in the National Technical Honor Society. I was a straight A student. I was a good kid. Like, I did my whatever. But I had to step out because I was pregnant and I was in my last trimester. They didn't want me to do my last round of clinicals, and I was overdue at this point. So they made me get out. So then, boom, I went back and finished the class and did whatever. But the first class that I took, the teacher went to the head person of nursing of the LPN program. She went to her and she was like, listen, I'm recommending her. We ain't even done with our program yet, but I'm going to recommend her to go into LPN as soon as she's done. So we go and graduate. I finally graduate, and I was so stuck on, y'all, okay, I just want my RNs gonna make that cash. I don't really want to go waste my time with LPNs and da-da-da-da. So at this point, years have passed, y'all. Like, years have passed. I'm still having kids. I can't do nothing too much because, like, I got all these kids. It just was a lot. It was a lot. I never could get back into nursing school. Never. So here it is, like, at this point, let me see, I got my PCT in 2012. It's 2019. And I'm just now, like, getting myself back into school. So let me back it up. So I was just like, God, you know, just help me out. You know what I'm saying? So one day I just was scrolling on my phone, and I was like, well, let me look up this nursing school thing. You know, let me bring it back to mind because I ain't making no money nowhere else. Let me go back to what I know, what I love, what I'm passionate about. So finally I go back and just like call the school, and they tell me, oh, we need you gotta do a tour, whatever. But I'm so confident in my brilliance and who I am, you know what I'm saying, that they was like, we need to do the tour, da-da-da. Then we do I told the lady straight up, listen, I don't even want to do that. I just want to do the test so I can see, you know, what I need to do, because I had a short window in order to get into school. School's getting ready to start. It's like maybe 3-4 weeks to like 3-4, I say 6 weeks from school starting. So I go take I sign up to take the test. So she sent me this little study guide or whatever. The whole study guide is fractions, y'all. Fractions was my hardest, like, subject. Hardest thing to deal with, period. So I went because, like, I want it. Like, I'm hungry for it. I want it. I need it. So I go do these YouTube videos. And I do these YouTube videos to teach me fractions, like, literally in this whole time frame till I go take the test. So, boom. My kid's father called me one night and was like, hey, let's take the kids out. So we go take them to the drive-in movie. A drunk driver hit me. Totaled my car out. I lost my car. And, like, mind you, like, school is getting ready to start. Like, I got to go take this test. School's finna get ready to start. So my headspace is now going back to that place where I was angry with God because I had done found the peace. So I'm like crying and panicking because at this time the kids were living with my mom, but I was sleeping in my car. Like nobody knew it. Like maybe my homegirl at the time, my homegirl and my kid's father would try to sleep with me in the car, but I was trying to find peace in myself. So I was sleeping in the car, but when the drunk driver hit me and told him the car, I was like, dang, God, I'm back in the same position. Like, I have nowhere to live. Like, it was just madness. I'm finna get ready to start school, and I don't have no car. Mind you, the school is like an hour away from where I'm living, and I was just starting to panic. I was starting to get stressed. I was starting to just like feel like it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me to go to school. I was feeling like, dang, man. So, anyways, so after that happened, my mom lets me come live with her again. She had the kids already, so I go move in, and when I moved in, told her what I was doing, she was down for it because my mom was a nurse, been a nurse for 20 years. So she was like excited for me. So she was like, if I gotta go rent a car, and we can go move in a house together, we're moving back in our family house and figure things out, I'll help you. I'm only giving you 1 year. That's all she was giving me, 1 year. So I went to go take the test. And when I took the test, you had to score an 80 on both of the tests. It was like an entrance exam, reading and math. So I scored a 85 on my math, and my reading I scored a 79.60 something. Do you know I could have been in the RN program? Like, when I went and talked to the lady, she's like, you want to go into the RN program? She's like, you got to take this over again. But all in my mind, like, all I remember is this 1 year. 1 year is what my mama said, 1 year. So, boom. I go back. Of course, it's always going to be some money involved. So, I had to pay for my background check. My mama paid for it that day. And then they was like, you need $500. I was like, oh my God. I don't have the money to pay for no schooling or whatever. And so this God like set it up. God had done worked things out. He had done put everything in line, things in my favor. So I had met a friend, and like we had been, talking, and I don't know what led me to share what I was going through with him. I had just met the guy, like we had become, close in conversation. I put it that way. We had talked so much. So, I felt like if we was gonna be friends, I'm one to keep it 100. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm gonna keep it all the way 100 with you. So I told him one day, and I was like, listen, I just want to be honest with you. Like, I'm a mother of 7 kids, because he only knew about, like, one of my children at that time. And I was like, I'm a mother of 7 kids. I was like, I live with my mom, and I'm trying to get my life back right, get on track. And he was like, okay, it's okay. He was like, he was very approving. And I was like, okay, boom, that's awesome. That's great. But what was set up by God was he hit me up, and he was like, listen, I'll give you $1,000 if you go find you somewhere to live. Like, go find you, a place to put down or whatever. I know income tax right around the corner. So that's just to kind of get your foot through the door. So I was like, okay. But I'm like blown, like, y'all, I'm like, the heck? Like, he don't even know me like that for him to just, offer whatever. But I couldn't find a way. But I had did everything for school. So I went back to him, and I was like, listen, I signed up to go into nursing school. I took my test. I passed my test, and they're saying I need money. And you were gonna offer me the money to get somewhere to stay, but can I use that money to basically like flip to go to school or whatever, and do what I needed to do as far as let me get on the right path. So, sometimes men or say things and they'll never follow up, or they'll say things that they don't mean what they say. Well, because it was nobody but God that had set this whole thing up, like, this man meant what he said. Like, so I was like, okay, I need the money. He sent it right to me. He sent the money right to me and got me, like, right to help me to whatever. For me, like, I always admire him. I always have, like, mad love for him and respect for him for even doing something like that, because I've never had a guy or a friend to invest in me. I'm gonna put it that way, to invest in me to be able to make some moves for myself. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to him, most definitely. But so boom, I get in school, get in nursing school, y'all. First week of school, like, mind you, I done been out of school 15 years at this point. Like, I done been out of high school for 15 years. I have been going to colleges, and I did all the different trades and stuff I told y'all about. But, like, that structured learning, and I ain't had that. It had been a long time. I'm very smart. Don't get that wrong. I'm very smart, but it's just like I have a hard time comprehending sometimes. So, first week of school, I'm, like, wigging, like, the freak if I got myself into. I don't know if I'm gonna make it. This ain't for me, y'all. This. Second week of school, same thing. Second week of school, like, it was like every week something was happening when I was in school. First week of school, it was I couldn't get it, transportation issues. Second week of school, I ended up in the hospital. They had to check my heart, thinking that I was like gonna have a heart attack or something like that. Third week of school, it was something. Fourth, it was just like week after week, it was something. But as I was going through school, I was starting to get the hang of it. I was starting to learn, had a really good teacher, and I was taking these tests. Every week, y'all, I was cringing. Like, like, anxiety. I've never had anxiety attacks besides when I was pregnant. Like, in school, I was good because I was so confident in my learning and my knowledge that it didn't. But when I got in nursing school, man, let me tell y'all, like, it was crazy because I would be sick to my stomach and nauseous. Like, oh my God, I gotta take a test. So I was doing good. I was doing good. So it got the week of our finals for our first quarter, and I've never been so sick in my life, y'all. Like, going in, taking these exams, and having to put everything that I had learned in those 12 weeks together to go take it as one big test. So I was like freaking the hell out and coming home. I ain't want to say nothing to nobody. I ain't want nobody nothing. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I was like tripping. But throughout, I made, I was making A's and B's on my test. A's and B's on my test. So, my final, we had to wait until we was on spring break to find out what we got. So I knew I had passed the quarter because they told us if we didn't get a call that y'all was good. So I was calling them. Listen, I want to know. So I was calling them. I called them and like, listen, did I pass? Like, or, am I on your list? And she was like, no. So I was excited. I celebrated. But I still was worried, y'all, because I didn't know my grades. Even though I passed, I didn't know my grades. You have to have a 75 to pass. You had to have a 75 to pass. So I ended up, we started back school, this past week, we started back school. And I want y'all to know that God is so good, because when I got my grades, I had 2 A's and a B. A B plus, a A minus, and an A. Yeah. And an A. And I had cum laude for my first quarter of classes. Like, already honors. Like, God is so good. But I wanted to tell people that never give up. Like, never give up on yourself. You know, I know it seems like time passes by and everybody else is doing good, and you just sitting still, like waiting, like for your time. And it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen on God's timing. It's gonna happen when He ready for it to happen. And I've learned that like, it ain't gonna be when you want it. It ain't gonna be when you think it should be or the way you think it should be, because God gonna set it up how He want it in His time and in His order for His, you know, it's everything happen for a reason, in a season, in a time, with the right people. So, like, let me back up real quick. So, like, when we used to take our exams, my goal is to be a nurse practitioner. So we had these little boards that we had to write on. So on the board, I would always write my name, LPN, RN, BSN, MSN, and nurse practitioner, period. I'm going to make it, y'all. Like, mother of 7, I got a slow start, but I'm going to get there. No matter how long it take you to get there, get there. I'm going to get there. And I had confirmation throughout school. My teacher told me she seen me being a nurse practitioner. She seen it. I had an instructor. I was doing makeup clinicals. I had missed the clinical. Went to go do makeup clinicals. This lady had not said nothing to us the whole day besides, you know, making sure we was doing what we was supposed to do. But after lunch, when I say this lady prophesied over me, y'all, she like prophesied and read me, told me about whatever, and told me that I'm gonna make it. That I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna be successful. I'm gonna be a nurse practitioner. I'm gonna make it to the end. And I believe that, like, deep down in my heart. Like, right now, we just started our next quarter and we're doing Med-Surg 1. Med-Surg 1, we're doing mental health, and we're doing pharmacology all in one. And when I say that's a lot, y'all, it is a lot. I was ready to quit yesterday. I was ready to give up, though, in the towel and be like, you know what, God, I don't think I could do this. This is too much. This is too much for my mind to remember. This is too much for me. I don't think I'm getting myself into the right situation. But, you know, because I'm always the one encouraging my friends or encouraging my classmates, they the ones encouraging me, not trying to, you know, keep my head together. But I know that God is going to make it work for me. It's gonna work in my good. It's gonna all work in my favor. You know what I'm saying? Everything that I've been through to this point, even with us not still having nowhere to live, y'all, it's all good, because, you know, God is taking care of us. He's kept us covered. He's kept us safe through it all. Like, and for like last week, my daughter, she spoke to over 1,300 people. 14 years old, spoke to over 1,300 people to tell them about us being homeless. Mind y'all, I was kind of like adamant about her telling the story, because she know I've always told them, don't talk about it, don't tell nobody about it, don't say nothing, no, none of that. And she told her story, and it wasn't for sympathy. It wasn't for us to get no handouts, y'all. I promise. It was for her doing justice, and it was to speak about the 4,000 homeless students in our county that's experiencing the same thing we experiencing. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's speaking on behalf of other people. Like, that's like, I have some good kids, you know what I'm saying? Like, my oldest, 14 years old, she's 8th grade. She already has a full ride scholarship in the 5th grade. She is an excellent child. She dances for church, she sings, she draws, and then now she's going into 9th grade. She's going to be in Cambridge International University program. 9th grade, y'all. 9th grade and in college. And she gets a free ride to college after. But when my baby graduates, she'll be graduating with an associate's degree, a high school diploma, and a little more than associate's degree. That's God. My son is a little kid, a little cat. 9 years old, little cat, play football. And Jit is known like good kids. Like, it's just a blessing, and they gonna be my blessing. But right now, it's my job as a mother to take care of them. So I'm gonna do what I gotta do. And me going to school is me taking another step to finding us some stability, and that's how I'm gonna do it. Like, I just, I shared this because I hope it blesses somebody, that if I can do it, me being a mother of 7, not having nowhere to stay, didn't have a car, didn't have a pot to piss in, didn't, none of that. I still, praised and worshiped and went to church. Me and my kids sung and danced and set ourselves free. You know what I'm saying? We still did things for others, and we was in a messed up situation. You know what I'm saying? Our time coming. Like this year, I know it's our year. I know it's my year. Like, when I finish, it will be in December, I think it is. I'll be finishing December. I'm going right into the bridge program in January, y'all. I gotta get it done. You know what I'm saying? I ain't in no rush, but I done wasted so much time and I'm so behind. So I feel like I'm so behind that now it's time to play catch up almost. So I got to go in and do what I need to do, make some moves. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, y'all. Y'all just keep on being, the person that you are. Don't never let nobody change you. You know what I'm saying? Don't let no situation change you. Always dance in the storm. I dance in the rain. Y'all hear me? When the rain come and we in the storm, I dance. I praise. I worship. I thank God, that he's giving me a clear mind and an understanding. And he working on me with that patience thing, because, my patience ain't there yet. God not through me yet. But, I know where my help come from. I know who my provider is. I know who is my healer, who is my, my all in all, like my help through it all. Like, I already know who it is. Like, God is so good, you know what I'm saying? So, I just feel like I needed to say that. I wanted to help somebody, So, if it blesses you or you feel like it could bless somebody else, share, subscribe, like, I'm gonna start doing videos talking about my week and what I'm going through and what I'm doing in school, until I graduate, and to keep on going, and always push through. You can do whatever you put your mind to. You know what I'm saying? Don't ever let nobody feel like because of your circumstance and situation that you can't make it, that you can't push towards your dreams. Like, this is something I'm passionate about. This is a dream. My dream is for me to be a nurse practitioner. My dream is for me to open up my own, facility and be able to teach people CNA, because I'm starting from the ground. I'm starting from the CNA, LPN. I'm starting from the beginning. I want to be able to bless people. Like, me going to school, y'all, is not about me. It's for me. It's for me to go to school, but it's not about me. It's for me to be able to bless people. Me to be able to minister to people. Me to be able to bring souls to Christ. Me to be able to just meet new people. It's a lot come with it, but it's not about me. It's not about me. It's gonna bless me in some ways that it's gonna be like mind-blowing, it's crazy, but it's not about me. It's not about me. It's not about my kids. We do what we do because we are kings and queens and children of the king, and our daddy, he's rich. He's rich. So, it is what it is. It is what it is. But, love and peace. And I'll make sure I do another video.